I want to talk about the inputs you think the White House is after for the medium term and the long term. But I wonder if you can just talk about that comment about the short term. The worst you've seen in 40 years?
Absolutely. I think the imbalance between supply and demand has never been this acute in all my history in this industry. And it's continued to get worse over the last 6 months. It's the rate at which new orders are coming in and demand seems to be increasing is outpacing the capacity that we can bring on board. So clearly a constraint we're going to see through this year, most likely into next year.
So you've obviously been through so many cycles, and I wonder that point at which demand returns and supply catches up, what has broken down this time? What makes it so different? Is it the sheer force of the demand's return, or are chinks in the supply side that we're not paying enough attention to?
I think this has been brewing for some time. If you go back, the start of this is all the way back into late 2018, 2019, when we had the tariffs start to create headwinds for many of our customers. They couldn't absorb the tariffs, and the end consumers couldn't bear the prices. So our demand went down in 2019. And then as things began to, supply chains realigned to build outside of China for the US, we hit COVID. And then COVID hit through the first half of 2020 and just added to the thing where automotive, industrial, consumers and all that stopped buying. So we got a catch up here from all the way from 2019 into 2020. But as all that slowdown happened, manufacturers like us could not get a demand signal from our customers that gave us enough warning to get started. And so all of us leaned out our inventories. We started to idle some of our factories to run less than what they could normally do. And fast forward, here we are. And it takes 6 months of cycle time from when we say go to when we can begin to have production in full force. And that started about September of last year.
All right. I know you're not going to be at today's summit, but if you were at the table and you were asked by somebody, what do we do to make sure this never happens again? What's the answer?
So I think there are two separate issues. I don't think today's summit, at least to my knowledge, has much of an effect on 2021 and 2022. These are just, supply-demand imbalances from normal economic cycles that have been taking place here. Nothing that the summit is going to talk about today, I believe, will affect 2021 and 2022. I think where the summit does, in fact, have a value to spend time on is, what are the policy initiatives that are going to be important to support a stronger semiconductor manufacturing infrastructure in the U.S. in the medium to long term. And, semiconductors are the foundation for our digital economy. So much of what we do depends on them. And both for economic reasons and for national security reasons, it behooves the U.S. government to ensure that the long-term strength and resilience of the American domestic semiconductor industry, both research and development and manufacturing capability are there.
Right, but that takes a
This
long time.
can be done through policy initiatives.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.